Dr. Marcus Reed stared at his computer screen in the quiet control room of the spaceship Horizon. The numbers on his screen made no sense. He had been studying space for 20 years but had never seen readings like these. The ship was floating, in the dark emptiness between stars, far from Earth and any known planets. Marcus rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the screen again. The numbers were still there. According to his instruments, something massive was happening in the space ahead of them. Dark matter, the invisible stuff that holds the universe together, was moving in strange patterns. It was gathering together, like water going down a drain, but this drain was bigger than entire solar systems. The control room door opened with a soft whoosh. Dr. Emily Carter walked in carrying a cup of coffee. She was the other main scientist on the ship, and Marcus trusted her more than anyone else in the crew. Emily had short brown hair and always wore her lucky blue sweater when she worked late shifts. "Still up, Marcus?" Emily asked, sitting down, at the computer next to his. "You have been staring at those screens for 6 hours straight." Marcus pointed to his display. "Look at this, Emily. The dark matter readings are off the charts. Something big is happening out there." Emily leaned forward and studied the data. Her eyebrows went up in surprise. "This cannot be right. Are you sure the instruments are working properly?" "I checked them 3 times, Marcus said. "I even ran a full diagnostic test. Everything is working fine. The readings say that dark matter is collecting in a region about 50 light years ahead of us. It is moving fast, much faster than it should be able to move." Emily shook her head. "Dark matter does not move like this, Marcus. It spreads out evenly across space. It does not bunch up in one place unless there is something incredibly massive pulling it together." "That is what I thought too," Marcus said. "But look at these gravitational wave detectors. They are picking up signals that I have never seen before. The waves are coming from the same direction as the dark matter readings." The 2 scientists worked together for the next hour, checking and double-checking their data. Everything pointed to the same conclusion. Something extraordinary was happening in the space ahead of them, something that should not be possible, according to everything they knew about physics. Captain James Sullivan entered the control room at exactly midnight, as he did every night during his rounds. He was a tall man with gray hair and kind eyes. He had been flying spaceships for 30 years and had seen many strange things, but he could tell from the faces of his scientists that this was different. "What do you have for me tonight, doctors?" Captain Sullivan asked. Marcus turned his screen so the captain could see it. "Sir, we are detecting massive amounts of dark matter movement ahead of us. The gravitational readings suggest something is forming out there, something huge, Apton." Sullivan studied the data carefully. He was not a scientist, but he had learned enough during his years in space to understand the basics. "How huge are we talking about?" "Big enough to be the center of a galaxy," Emily said quietly. "But that is impossible. Galaxies take billions of years to form. This is happening in real time." The captain was quiet for a long moment. Then he pressed a button on the wall that connected him to the ship's computer. "Computer, confirm the instrument readings from the astronomy department." A calm electronic voice filled the room. "All instrument readings have been verified. Data shows significant dark matter concentration and unusual gravitational wave patterns at bearing 27 Mark IV. Phenomenon extends approximately 50 light years across current detection range." Dr. Robert Hayes, the mission director, appeared on the main screen. He was calling from his quarters and looked annoyed at being woken up. Hayes was a thin man with a sharp face who always followed rules exactly. "Captain, why are you running shipwide diagnostics at midnight?" Hayes asked. Captain Sullivan explained what Marcus and Emily had discovered. As he spoke, Hayes' face grew, more and more skeptical. "This is clearly an instrument malfunction," Hayes said when the captain finished. "Our mission is to survey the outer rim territories and report back to Earth. We do not have time to chase false readings." "With respect, sir," Marcus said, "I have triple-checked these instruments. The readings are accurate." Hayes waved his hand dismissively. "Dr. Reed, instruments can fail in ways that make their self-diagnostics report normal function. I want you, to recalibrate everything and get back to our scheduled survey work. Before anyone could respond, Lisa Thompson's voice came over the ship's communication system. Lisa was the chief engineer and spent most of her time in the engine room keeping the horizon running smoothly. "Captain, you need to see this," Lisa said. Her voice sounded excited and worried at the same time. "I am getting readings down here that match what the astronomy department is reporting. The ship's gravitational sensors are going crazy." "Captain," Sullivan looked at Dr. Hayes on the screen. "Doctor, it seems multiple departments are detecting the same phenomenon." Hayes sighed loudly. "Fine, but I want a full report on my desk in 6 hours explaining why our instruments are malfunctioning. We cannot afford to waste time on false readings." The screen went dark as Hayes ended the call. Captain Sullivan turned to Marcus and Emily. "Keep monitoring the situation. If these readings are accurate, we may have discovered something that will change everything we know about how the universe works." Over the next few hours, more members of the crew began to take notice of the strange readings. Dr. Amanda Foster, the ship's expert on alien life, stopped by the control room to ask about the unusual energy patterns her equipment was detecting. Lieutenant David Martinez, who was responsible for navigating the ship, reported that his instruments were having trouble calculating their position because space itself seemed to be bending in the area ahead of them. By morning, it was clear that something real and extraordinary was happening in the space ahead of the horizon. The dark matter was not just collecting randomly. It was forming patterns, spirals, and structures that looked almost like someone was building something enormous in the emptiness of space. Marcus stood at the main viewing window as the ship's lights dimmed to simulate dawn. In the distance, he could see a faint glow that had not been there the day before. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time, like watching the birth of something that should not exist. "Emily," he called to his colleague who was still working at her computer, "I think we are about to witness something that no human has ever seen before." Captain James Sullivan stood in the middle of the bridge watching the main screen show the growing light ahead of them. 3 days had passed since Dr. Marcus Reed first detected the strange readings. Now the glow was visible to the naked eye, stretching across the darkness like a slowly spinning wheel of light. "Captain," Dr. Robert Hayes said from his position at the communications console, "I am ordering you to change course immediately. Our mission parameters do not include investigating unknown phenomena." Sullivan kept his eyes on the screen. The light was getting brighter every hour, and the patterns were becoming more complex. Spirals of gas and dust were forming, creating beautiful shapes that reminded him of photographs he had seen of galaxies billions of light years away. "Dr. Hayes, with respect, I believe we have a duty to investigate this discovery," Sullivan replied. "This could be the most important scientific finding in human history." Hayes' face turned red with anger. "Captain, I am the mission director. I am giving you a direct order to resume our original survey course." Lieutenant David Martinez looked up from his navigation console. His hands were shaking slightly as he tried to plot their current position. "Captain, I am having trouble with the navigation systems. Space itself seems to be warping around us. The gravitational fields are unlike anything I have ever seen. Doctor." Emily Carter entered the bridge carrying a tablet full of new data. Her eyes were bright with excitement despite having worked through the night. "Captain, you need to see this. The phenomenon is not just collecting dark matter, it is creating new matter, new energy. Stars are being born out there." Sullivan looked at the data on Emily's tablet. Even with his limited scientific knowledge, he could see that something incredible was happening. Points of light were appearing in the spiral patterns, each one representing a new star coming to life. "How is that possible?" Sullivan asked. "Stars take millions of years to form." "That is what we thought," Marcus said, joining them on the bridge. "But whatever is happening out there is speeding up the entire process. We are watching billions of years of cosmic evolution happen in days." Hayes slammed his hand on the console. "This is all speculation based on faulty instruments. I will not allow this ship to be put at risk chasing fairy tales." Before anyone could respond, the ship shuddered slightly. Lisa Thompson's voice came over the intercom from the engine room. "Captain, we are being affected by the gravitational fields from the phenomenon. The ship's systems are working harder to maintain our position. It is like we are being pulled toward whatever is out there. Sullivan made his decision. Lieutenant Martinez, plot a course toward the phenomenon. Take us in slowly and carefully. Captain, I cannot allow this, Hayes said, moving toward the command chair. Dr. Hayes, you are the mission director, but I am the captain of this vessel. The safety of this ship and crew is my responsibility. I believe our best chance of staying safe is to understand what we are dealing with. Martinez's fingers flew over his controls, but his face showed confusion and worry. Captain, I am trying to plot a safe course, but the gravitational fields keep changing. It is like trying to navigate through a storm where the wind changes direction every few seconds. Dr. Amanda Foster appeared on the bridge, carrying several pieces of equipment that Sullivan did not recognize. Amanda was normally quiet and spent most of her time in the laboratory studying samples of space dust and cosmic radiation. Captain, I need to show you something, Amanda said, connecting her equipment to the main display. My sensors are detecting structures in the phenomenon. They are not natural formations. The main screen changed to show Amanda's readings. Strange geometric shapes appeared in the swirling clouds of gas and dust. They were enormous, each one larger than Earth's solar system, and they seemed to be directing the flow of matter around them. What are they? Sullivan asked. I do not know, Amanda replied, but they are definitely artificial. Someone or something is controlling the formation of this galaxy. The word galaxy hung in the air like a challenge. Everyone on the bridge understood what Amanda was suggesting. They were not just watching stars being born. They were witnessing the creation of an entire galaxy, and something was guiding the process. Dr. Paul Williams, the ship's medical officer, joined them on the bridge. Paul was a calm man who rarely left his medical bay unless there was an emergency. His presence meant something was wrong. Captain, I need to report something unusual, Paul said. Several crew members have come to me with reports of strange dreams. They are all describing the same thing. Visions of cosmic creation, of matter, and energy flowing through space to create new worlds. Sullivan felt a chill run down his spine. How many crew members? 12 so far, but the number is growing. They all started having these dreams after we detected the phenomenon. The dreams are vivid and detailed, almost like memories of events they never experienced. Hayes, who had been quiet during this exchange, suddenly spoke up. This proves my point. Whatever is out there is affecting our crew. We need to leave, immediately. Actually, Dr. Hayes, Marcus said, the dreams might be a form of communication. If there is intelligence behind the galaxy formation, it might be trying to make contact with us. The ship shuddered again, more strongly this time. Martinez looked up from his console with worry in his eyes. Captain, we are being pulled toward the phenomenon. I cannot maintain our current position much longer. Sullivan looked around the bridge at his crew. Each of them was facing the unknown with courage, even though they were all afraid. Emily and Marcus were excited by the scientific possibilities. Amanda was fascinated by the artificial structures. Paul was concerned about the crew's well-being. Martinez was focused on keeping them safe. Even Hayes, despite his objections, was leaning forward to get a better look at the main screen. All right, Sullivan said. We go in. But we go in carefully. Martinez, take us toward the outer edge of the phenomenon. Stay ready to reverse course if things get dangerous. As the horizon moved closer to the swirling lights, the crew could see more details. The artificial structures were not just directing the flow of matter, they were creating it, transforming energy into gas and dust, then guiding that matter into the spiral patterns of a forming galaxy. My God, Emily whispered. We are watching the birth of a galaxy. This is how they are made. The ship moved deeper into the phenomenon, surrounded by the light of 1 billion new stars being born around them. None of them knew what they would find at the center of this cosmic creation, but they all understood that they were witnessing something that would change humanity's understanding of the universe forever. The horizon drifted through clouds of glowing gas that sparkled like diamonds in the darkness. Captain James Sullivan watched from the bridge as newborn stars ignited around them, each one bursting to life in brilliant flashes of white and gold, light. The ship had been traveling deeper into the phenomenon for 2 days, and the crew was beginning to understand that they were inside something much larger than they had imagined. Dr. Marcus Reed worked frantically at his communication equipment, trying to make sense of the signals they were receiving. The artificial structures they had discovered were not just controlling the galaxy formation. They were talking to each other, sending messages through ripples in space and time itself. "Captain," Marcus called out, "I think I can decode some of these signals. They are using gravitational waves as a language. Each pulse carries information about how to shape matter and energy." Dr. Emily Carter stood beside him, studying the patterns on her screen. "Marcus, look at this. The signals are getting stronger as we move toward the center. It is like someone knows we are here." Lieutenant David Martinez looked up from his navigation console with concern. "Captain, we are approaching one of the large structures. It is directly in our path, and I cannot navigate around it. The thing is the size of our entire solar system." Through the main viewing window, the crew could see the structure Martinez was talking about. It looked like a massive crystal made of dark matter, with points of light moving through it like blood through veins. The structure was beautiful and terrifying at the same time, clearly not built by any human technology. Dr. Robert Hayes, who had been unusually quiet during their journey into the phenomenon, suddenly spoke up. "Captain, I am receiving a transmission. On our main communication channel, it is not coming from Earth." "Put it through," Sullivan ordered. The bridge filled with a sound unlike anything they had ever heard. It was not quite music, and not quite speech, but something that seemed to speak directly to their minds. The crew members looked at each other with wonder and fear as the sound grew stronger. Dr. Paul Williams rushed onto the bridge, his medical scanner beeping frantically. "Captain, the entire crew is experiencing the same brainwave patterns. Whatever is communicating with us is affecting our minds directly." As Paul spoke, the sound began to change. Slowly, it became more familiar, more like human speech. Words formed in their minds, not heard through their ears but understood directly by their thoughts. "Welcome, young travelers," the voice said. It was warm and ancient, like the voice of a grandfather telling stories. "We have been waiting for you to arrive." The crew stood in stunned silence. Captain Sullivan was the first to recover his voice. "Who are you? What is this place?" "We are the architects," the voice replied. "We are the gardeners of the cosmos. We plant the seeds of galaxies and tend them as they grow. This place is our newest garden, and you are our first visitors." Dr. Amanda Foster, who had been studying the alien structures, stepped forward. "You created this galaxy, but how is that possible?" The main screen filled with images that took their breath away. They saw the architects as they truly were, beings of pure energy and thought, existing in the spaces between matter and time. The architects showed them how they had been working for billions of years, guiding the formation of galaxies throughout the universe. "We do not create," the architect explained. "We guide. We help matter and energy find their proper patterns. Without guidance, the universe would be cold and empty. With care and patience, it becomes filled with the possibility of life." Marcus stepped closer to his communication equipment. "Are you saying that all galaxies were created this way? That someone guided their formation?" "Not someone," the architect said gently. "Many someones. We are not alone in this work. Throughout the universe, there are species like us who have learned to tend the cosmic garden. Your own galaxy, the one you call the Milky Way, was guided by architects long ago." Emily gasped. "Earth's galaxy was artificial. Our solar system, our planet, everything we know exists because of your work?" "Your galaxy was guided, yes. But the life that grew within it, including your species, developed naturally. We plant the gardens, but we do not control what grows in them. That is the beauty of our work. We never know what wonderful forms of life will emerge." The crew spent the next several hours in conversation with the architects. They learned that the universe was far more alive and intentional than they had ever imagined. Countless species throughout the cosmos had evolved beyond their physical forms to become cosmic gardeners, each one responsible for nurturing the growth of galaxies and the life within them. Hayes, who had been skeptical of the entire journey, found himself asking question after question. How do you choose which galaxies to create? How do you know where life will develop? We do not choose, the architect replied. We listen. The universe itself tells us where new gardens are needed. We feel the loneliness of empty space and bring it the company of stars. We sense the potential for life and create the conditions where it can flourish. Lisa Thompson, who had joined them on the bridge, asked about the technical aspects of galaxy creation. How do you manipulate matter and energy on such a massive scale? The architect's response came not in words, but in direct understanding. Suddenly, Lisa could see how the universe worked at its most fundamental level. Matter and energy were not separate things, but different aspects of a single, living system. By understanding the system, the architects could guide its growth and development. Dr. Williams reported that the crew's brain patterns were changing as they communicated with the architects. Captain, we are being transformed by this contact. Our minds are expanding to comprehend concepts that humans have never understood before. Are we in danger? Sullivan asked. No, the architect replied. You are being prepared. Your species has reached the point where it can begin to understand its role in the cosmic garden. Some of you will return to your world as bridges between humanity and the larger community of life. As the conversation continued, the crew began to see their place in the universe differently. They were not just explorers or scientists. They were potential gardeners, students who might one day help guide the formation of new worlds and the life that would grow on them. The architect showed them visions of the future, humans working alongside other species to create new galaxies, new opportunities for life to develop and flourish. It was a future filled with purpose and wonder, where humanity would play a vital role in the ongoing creation of the universe. But first, the architect said, you must prove that your species is ready for such responsibility. The final phase of this galaxy's creation is about to begin. Will you help us complete our work? The bridge of the horizon fell silent as the architect's question hung in the air. Captain James Sullivan looked around at his crew, seeing both fear and excitement in their faces. The weight of speaking for all humanity pressed down on his shoulders like a heavy blanket. What exactly would we need to do? Sullivan asked. The main screen filled with images of the galaxy they were helping to create. It was almost complete, with millions of new stars arranged in perfect spiral arms. But at the center, where the heart of the galaxy should be, there was only empty space. Every galaxy needs an anchor, the architect explained. A massive black hole at its center that holds all the stars in their proper orbits. Creating this anchor is the most dangerous part of our work. One mistake could destroy everything we have built. Dr. Marcus Reed studied the images on the screen. You want us to help create a black hole? That seems incredibly dangerous. It is dangerous, the architect agreed. That is why it serves as a test. Only species that understand the responsibility of cosmic creation should be allowed to participate in such work. Your actions will determine whether humanity is ready to join the community of galactic gardeners. Dr. Emily Carter moved to her workstation and began running calculations. How would we even begin to create something like that? Black holes form when massive stars collapse. We would need to compress matter beyond anything our technology can achieve. Your technology alone cannot do this work, the architect said. But your minds can. The transformation you have undergone during our communication has prepared you to perceive and manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe. You will work with us, not replace us. Lisa Thompson looked up from her engineering console. Captain, our ship's systems are already changing. The architect's technology is merging with ours. I can see new controls and capabilities that were not there before. Dr. Paul Williams ran his medical scanner over several crew members. His readings showed dramatic changes in their brain structure and nervous system. Captain, we are all being transformed. Our minds are expanding to handle concepts and abilities that normal humans could never comprehend. Lieutenant David Martinez. found that he could suddenly understand the gravitational currents flowing through the galaxy around them. "Captain, I can feel the movement of space itself. It is like having a new sense that I never knew existed." Dr. Robert Hayes, who had opposed their mission from the beginning, was experiencing the most dramatic change of all. His rigid, rule-following personality was opening up to wonder and possibility. "Captain, I can see the mathematical beauty of what the architects are doing. The precision required is beyond anything I ever imagined." The architect continued to explain the process. "The black hole must be created at the exact center of the galaxy, with precisely the right mass and spin. Too small, and it will not hold the galaxy together. Too large, and it will consume the stars we have created. The timing must be perfect." Dr. Amanda Foster studied the biological implications of their transformation. "Are we still human?" she asked. "You are becoming something more than human," the architect replied. "You are becoming bridges between your species and the cosmic community. When you return to your world, you will carry the knowledge and ability to prepare your people for their eventual role as gardeners." Captain Sullivan realized that they were facing a choice that would change not just their own lives, but the entire future of humanity. If we succeed, what happens next? If you succeed, your species will be welcomed into the community of cosmic gardeners. You will be given the knowledge to help create new galaxies and guide the development of life throughout the universe. If you fail, your galaxy will remain isolated, and humanity will continue to develop alone. The captain looked around at his crew. Each of them was changing before his eyes, becoming something greater than they had been. But he could also see that the change was irreversible. They would never be ordinary humans again. "What are the risks?" Sullivan asked. "If the black hole is created incorrectly, it could destroy this entire region of space," the architect said. "Your ship, your lives, and millions of newly formed stars would be lost. But the greater risk is to your species. Failure would show that humanity is not ready for cosmic responsibility." Emily looked up from her calculations. "Captain, I think I understand the process. We need to compress a region of space-time at the galaxy's center, creating a gravitational well strong enough to anchor all the surrounding stars. The math is incredibly complex." "The math is just the beginning," Marcus added. "We need to coordinate with the architect's technology to actually manipulate space-time itself. It requires a level of precision and teamwork that no human has ever attempted." Lisa worked frantically to understand the new controls that were appearing on her engineering console. "Captain, the ship's systems are integrating with technology I do not recognize. It is like our ship is becoming part of a larger machine." Hayes, still struggling with the magnitude of what they were being asked to do, raised an important question. "What if we choose not to participate? Can we simply leave and return to Earth?" "You could leave," the architect said. "But the transformation you have undergone cannot be reversed. You would return to your world changed, carrying knowledge that your species is not ready to receive. You would spend your lives knowing that humanity missed its chance to join the cosmic community." The crew spent the next several hours preparing for the test. Emily and Marcus worked together to understand the calculations required to create the black hole. Lisa learned to operate technology that seemed to respond to her thoughts rather than her hands. Martinez practiced navigating through the complex gravitational fields they would encounter. Paul documented the changes in their biology, recording everything for the benefit of future humans who might face similar transformations. Amanda studied the artificial structures around them, learning how they channeled and directed cosmic forces. Hayes surprised everyone by becoming one of the most dedicated participants in the preparation. His analytical mind, once focused on following rules, now worked to understand the cosmic principles that governed galaxy creation. "Captain," Emily said as they neared the center of the forming galaxy, "we are as ready as we can be, but I want you to know that if we succeed, we will never be the same people who left Earth. We will be something new." Sullivan nodded, understanding the weight of the moment. "Then let us become something new together. Begin the process." The moment had arrived. Captain James Sullivan stood at the center of the bridge as his transformed crew took their positions around him. The horizon floated at the exact heart of the forming galaxy, surrounded by swirling clouds of gas and the brilliant light of a million newborn stars. Dr. Emily Carter placed her hands on the modified control console. Her fingers tingled with energy as the architect's technology responded to her thoughts. "Captain, I can feel the gravitational forces around us. It is like having the entire galaxy flowing through my mind." Dr. Marcus Reed worked alongside her. His consciousness now expanded to perceive the fundamental structure of space and time. "Emily, I can see the mathematical patterns we need to follow. The precision required is incredible, but I think we can do this." Lieutenant David Martinez had become the navigator between worlds, able to sense the currents of space itself. "Captain, the gravitational field is ready. All the matter in the galaxy is positioned correctly. We just need to create the anchor point." Lisa Thompson's hands moved over controls that seemed to respond to her will rather than her touch. The ship's engines hummed with power that came from sources she was only beginning to understand. "Captain, all systems are ready. The ship is now part of the Architect's network." Dr. Robert Hayes, completely transformed from the rigid mission director he had once been, monitored the cosmic forces around them. "Captain, the energy levels are building. We need to act now, while the galaxy is in perfect alignment." Dr. Paul Williams recorded everything, knowing that this moment would need to be shared with humanity. "Captain, our vital signs show that we are functioning at levels far beyond normal human capacity. Whatever we have become, we are ready for this." Dr. Amanda Foster watched the artificial structures around them pulse with energy. "Captain, the architects are preparing to channel cosmic forces through our ship. I can feel their presence in my mind, guiding us." Captain Sullivan took a deep breath and gave the order that would change everything. "Begin the compression sequence." Emily and Marcus worked together, their minds linked by technology beyond human understanding. They began to fold space and time at the galaxy's center, creating a point where matter and energy would be compressed beyond normal limits. The main screen showed what was happening around them. Space itself was bending and twisting, creating patterns of light that hurt to look at directly. The crew could feel the enormous forces flowing through their ship and through their transformed bodies. "The compression is holding," Emily reported, her voice calm despite the incredible energies they were controlling. "The gravitational field is intensifying exactly as calculated." Marcus monitored the mathematical patterns that governed the process. "The space-time curvature is reaching critical levels. We are approaching the point of no return." Lisa felt the ship's systems strain under the cosmic forces they were channeling. But instead of breaking down, the technology seemed to grow stronger, fed by the same energies that were creating the black hole. "Captain, our ship is becoming something new. It is no longer just human technology." Martinez watched the galaxy around them respond to their work. Billions of stars began to shift slightly in their orbits, drawn by the growing gravitational anchor at the galaxy's heart. "Captain, it is working. The stars are falling into their final positions." Hayes monitored the energy readings that would determine success or failure. "Captain, we are approaching the moment of creation. All forces are in perfect balance." The architect's voice filled their minds one final time. "Now, young gardeners, complete the work and bring this galaxy to life." Emily and Marcus reached out with their transformed consciousness and gave the final command. Space-time collapsed at the galaxy's center, creating a point of such incredible density that it bent reality around itself. In an instant, a massive black hole came into existence, its gravitational pull immediately reaching out to embrace every star in the galaxy. The main screen exploded with light as billions of stars settled into their final orbits around the new galactic center. Spiral arms of light stretched out in perfect symmetry, creating a sight of such beauty that several crew members began to cry. "We did it," Emily whispered. "We actually did it." The galaxy was complete. From edge to edge, it stretched across hundreds of thousands of light years, filled with stars that would burn for billions of years to come. And somewhere among those stars, life would eventually develop, grow, and perhaps one day, join the community of cosmic gardeners. The architect's voice returned, filled with warmth and approval. You have succeeded beyond our hopes. Humanity has proven itself ready to join the cosmic community. You will return to your world carrying the knowledge and ability to prepare your species for its new role. Captain Sullivan looked around at his crew, seeing the wonder and transformation in each of their faces. They were no longer the same people who had left Earth months ago. They had become something greater, bridges between humanity and the infinite community of life that tended the cosmic garden. What happens now? Sullivan asked. Now you return home, the architect replied, but you will not return alone. You carry with you the wisdom of the cosmos and the responsibility to guide your species toward its destiny. Some humans will fear the knowledge you bring. Others will embrace it. Your job will be to help humanity grow into its role as gardeners of the universe. The journey home took several weeks, but it felt like a dream to the transformed crew. They spent their time learning to control their new abilities and planning how to share their knowledge with humanity. They knew that not everyone would believe their story, but they also knew that the universe had a way of preparing species for the truths they were ready to receive. As Earth appeared on their main screen, Captain Sullivan felt a mixture of joy and sadness. They were home, but they would never truly belong to the small blue planet again. Their hearts now belonged to the infinite cosmos and the endless work of creation. Dr. Reed made the final log entry of their journey. We left Earth as explorers and returned as gardeners. We went looking for stars and found our purpose. The universe is vast and alive and waiting for humanity to take its place among the cosmic community. Our work has just begun. The horizon entered Earth's atmosphere carrying 7 transformed humans and the promise of a future beyond anything their species had ever imagined. They brought with them the knowledge that the universe was not empty and cold, but filled with gardeners who tended the cosmic fields where life could grow and flourish. Humanity's true journey among the stars was about to begin.